Hi there. Good evening. Dr. Rao here. Yeah, we are going to talk about the things I do every day today um, in my own way of dealing with stress and whatever we go through, right, in the present context. Uh, the too much work and hurrying and not able to relax and not able to take some time off, things like that, right? But this routine is something I try to implement most of the days, and unless I was traveling and reached home late in the night, something like that. Otherwise, I do these 8 things that I think will help us to deal with the stress and strain that we go through in the modern times, especially in the United States, because everybody is kind of going and to get something, and in the process, they don't feel really don't care that much about self-care. They may do something when something goes wrong, but before everything goes wrong, if the health is very good, people are take it for granted and do these small things that you could do. Okay. So as I described them yesterday, I'm going to go through them again, and we can take some of the aspects of it and discuss further about it. So the first thing is, as I was telling you, get up in the morning very early, and then don't go for the devices, don't go for the television, don't go for the news, anything like that. But really be aware, be aware of what's going on in the morning. That's the number one you want to do. So mostly what's happening is people activate their thought and they never give it a break. Okay, that's what I wanted to avoid. So when I discovered that you can bring that awareness, like a mindfulness, to the front and keep that stream of thought to the back and use it when you need it, that has paid a lot of dividends for me. So first thing is, get up in the morning. When you get up in the morning, what you do is you just be aware and see what's going on. Okay, that's number one. Okay, once you are aware and once you put your nervous system to the present mode, that will work very well for you throughout the day. And you want to take the present mode into your daily life and make sure that you are really being in the present whatever you do. Okay, so that is the second one that goes on as a part of routine during the day. Whatever you do engineer, you do a doctor, you are an accountant, whatever you do, try to be here and now in the present. That was cultivated in the morning, and then just keep a tag about it, and then just to be conscious about it. I was suggesting some things for people yesterday, like a cues. It could be visual cue, something you can see and immediately remember, yeah, I want to be in the present as much as possible. I want to pay attention to everything, right? So I used to use a picture on the telephone way back in 90s and 2000s because I wanted to be establish myself in the present moment and deal with whatever I'm dealing with the patients and all that. That helped me quite a bit. That helped me to remember this without anybody telling me, and also my whole system got back to the present just by looking at API. That represents, am I in the present? AIP actually, am I in the present? There's a question to me and asking me, hey, are you, or are you drifting into the past and the future when you don't need to do it? You just take your job and enjoy it and do a good job and all that. A lot of people get lost thinking about something happened 10 years ago or 2 years ago, whatever, or something your wife said yesterday or you said to her yesterday, something like that. I think that is totally waste of energy. So having this kind of mental discipline, which is starting in the morning, in the moment, whatever is happening. Okay, you look out the window, you see the snow, right? Look at it, enjoy it, and be aware of it. Don't have thoughts about, don't be judgmental, don't be calling, oh, this is a bad day, I'm not going to be having a good day because I have to go and shovel the snow and I got to clean the car and all that. Okay. Even now what happens to us is when I go to see other hospitals, I kind of take some hotels have parking, covered parkings, but most of them, even a good hotel, they don't have the overhead parking sometimes. So you have to park outside, and then it accumulates a lot of snow, right? So when I go there, if I can't curse, if I can't do it, I kind of drain myself before even I start the day, right? So yeah, fine. This is what it is. Winter, you're going to have the snow, and then you clean it up, and then you're done what it is. You have kept your cool, that kind of thing. So in the morning, when you get up, be aware of your circumstances, the time, the weather, the life around you, and all that. And then go and carry that like a perfume through the day. Okay, that's number two. Now, before you go to work and all that, what do? You get up and take a really good shower, right? That is one area where people just mindlessly do it, listen to the music, or just thinking about the work or whatever, right? Some people answer phone calls also. But, just pay attention to what you're doing. That is basically bringing your mindfulness to what you're doing. In the bathing, one particular thing I recommended is scrub the skin very vigorously. So that way your immunocytes are stimulated and your immunity is much better in this day and age of COVID and other infections. So that's just a medical thing I just slipped in there. But I remember that, and then you take the shower and you have the breakfast, and then you go to the work. But then before you go to work, what you do, you kind of want to, my personal preference is, this is the talk about my things, right? So I do the good kneading of the body through yoga asanas, postures of the yoga. Because I'm into that yoga quite a bit and for a long time. Within a few minutes, I can do very number of exercises without getting hurt and really feel good about it. It's a kind of habit, right? It's kind of made a habit to your body. So you can take something else. You can maybe you have dumbbells or you have some jump rope, you have a walk, you have maybe under treadmill or stepper, whatever you have. Do that, and along with that, the fourth one is, see, first one is awareness, second one is carrying it through the day, and third one is just doing the vigorous exercise for the body. A little bit or more, it depends upon how you train yourself, how much time you have, and all that. Some people may not have time at all because they may start very early, like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. I get up very early, so my practice has a lot of time for the yoga asanas that I do, and also I have a wellness club I run. So students come, and I will be doing with them. I don't just tell them do it; I do it with them. Okay, so that way it becomes good for my body, and also they get inspired seeing a 69-year-old man doing it that 30-year-old cannot do. I think they get inspired by that. Okay, so that is one of the things I want to my students, to give them some inspiration, right? And also it's good for me for the body wise. I feel really excited. And when I'm doing the yoga asanas, what I do is I kind of align with the deep breathing, whatever the yoga postures we're doing, and align not only the breathing but also our mental attitude. Again, be here and now, just focus on whatever you're doing, and then be aware of what's going on in your body and all that. Okay, so awareness continuing through the day. Second, third one is scrubbing the body while you're taking shower, and then yogasanas and the breathing. And then when you go to the work, just take a minute break every hour by taking present moment breathing breath. So don't go on engaging yourself in a lot of mental activity, but break it with 1 minute active deep breathing, and at the same time you bring yourself to the present moment. That's another thing. And then during the day, you don't want to spend yourself a lot of react. So in the morning, when you're doing deep breathing, that's one thing you gain is less reactive, and then you can go and respond to your duties. How does it happen is that deep breathing brings your vagus nerve in activation. That's basically parasympathetic nervous system, which is kind of opposite to the sympathetic nervous system, which comes into place when you perceive some danger, when you perceive some threat or something, then you secrete stress hormones. But the other one, the parasympathetic nervous system, which is activated with the deep breathing, is about rest and digest. So it's kind of allows you to relax better. Okay, so that at work also, when you go and you face some situation that is really aggravating, that makes you feel like, hey, they're taking me for granted, or they're saying something, and then your ego bumps up, and then you have this severe emotional reaction of anger, irritation, agitation, whatever. That will go down with the progressive practice of deep breathing whenever you can. Okay, so basically you are trying to activate your parasympathetic nervous system. If you do that while at work, you will not be reacting, but you will be responding to your tasks, to your duties, to whatever you choose to do. Either you play or do is up to you, right? So so instead of losing our cool, we will be more, sedate and calm and quiet. Okay, and then once you are done with your work, and then you have been responding, you are not reacting, and you have been relaxing during the work, and then you are also trying to be helpful to people, all that. Then when you come home, just before you go to bed, what you want to do is you want to calm yourself down and just have a reflection. What has the day been, how it has. This is what actually practically I do. That's why my quality of sleep is very good, because I clean my mind of all the impressions, all the reactions, anything that usually these days it does nothing phases me. I just go and do my stuff, and if they say something, it's their problem. If I have a problem, they point it out, I will look at it. If there's something I need to correct, I'll do it and finish and go. Usually the same job, same hospital, same thing, all those things, then you don't have much to get excited about, right? Excuse me. So that happens. So in the night, anyway, lie down and then see what are the things that happen to you through the day. You have some positives, you may have some negatives and all that, right? Of the negatives, are there any that are trivial and not important, not worth wasting my time about? Dump them, try to. That's what I do. Let them go. That's it. And then if there are three or four, that's an important thing I want to remember and I want to follow up tomorrow, then I will write them down and dump them from the mind. That's what we do. Okay. So these 8 practices, if you do on a daily basis, you will be really having your own control, living in the present, being calm and cool, and really putting your time in resolving problems rather than expending a lot of negative energy. So remember, I will repeat them again. Be aware first thing in the morning when you get up. Don't get on in the wagon of thoughts, or the movement of thought. That's one thing. And then you kind of do your exercises, coordinate with your presence, and also coordinate with your breathing, and take a shower. Remember to scrub the skin very vigorously and be mindful about it. Then when you go to the work, carry this presence like a perfume and check it with 1 minute break every hour. That's the present moment breathing break. Okay, and then don't be reactive. And that helps because you are practicing deep breathing. You won't be reactive. You'll be responding to whatever you want to do. And then at the end, when you come home, just to look at the reactions that you had gone through all day, reflect on them, and then dump the trivial ones and get the important ones also written down and put somewhere and then clean it. So important thing is you want to sleep on as clear a mind as possible. For me, it's like a clean slate. There's a joke also among my friends and all. If they call me in the morning, they say, "What, sir? Is your slate clean?" What does it mean is the mind is compared to the slate, and if I written something and retain it, then that's not good. If I wiped out during the night or in the morning, I should be waking up a clean slate. So this is a joke that I have, and when I told them, they kind of turned it on me, and they were always asking me, "Sir, how is your slate? Is it clean?" That is a way for them to remember too. So I also enjoy. We laugh together, and then if we are clear, both of us, then we celebrate that. Okay. These days, I have been working on this thought, mind, and information, wisdom, information overload, overwhelm, all these things, right? So, all this is because we kind of don't have the habit of conscious thought. That means intentionally whatever I want to do according to my long term goals, according to what are my values, what you want to do, all that, you should be working on those in a non emergent way. That means you have to have a system of nervous system that's not fidgety, anxious, or overwhelmed, or brain fog, and all that. So all these things are don't have to be okay. You don't have to sacrifice your inner health for the sake of some small achievements outside. On the other hand, when you have the balance within, then you will be going and conquering whatever you want to do. That's what I want to say, and we're going to expand that as more of my friends come. Usually they come a little later. That's fine too. This is all recorded. Anyway, all these 8 points I have expanded. I made videos on them, so I'm going to present them. Yesterday I put these 8 points together in the house, but also we can put it on the top of the. We can pin it. I'm not usually used to do that, but I'm beginning to do that, pinning those videos. I will do that again. Okay. Leslie, Washan, welcome. You guys want to come up? You're more than welcome to come and talk to me about this topic we are talking about. Um, we were actually doing a series on energy and entrepreneurship. How is this entrepreneurship is really Vashan is coming up. Uh, so, hi Vashan.
Hello, Dr. Rao. How are you?
I am very good, Roshan. I'm glad you came up because I was asking the community to come because I think this is very relevant. I'm presenting something that is working for me for years. I go pretty deep on this stuff, but then at least let them see what I do. Then they may take something out of it. See, that's what I thought. So, what do you think about this? Did you hear all of them, or do you want me to repeat again?
I didn't hear all of them. I just walked into the room to
Yeah.
just come and to support and listen to you.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm happy to have a conversation or listen or whatever it is you want to do.
Yeah.
I do think energy and entrepreneurship inside jobs for wellness, I think that is
Yeah.
something we definitely should be
Yeah.
focusing on because boy, I have to work on balance
Yeah.
and making sure that I am energetic, right? And
Yes.
I'm not like
Yeah.
down, I'm not
Peop-
tired, or I'm not like
yeah. Yeah.
those things. So
I
yeah.
I know you, Ashan. You get into a lot of things, and you are a prime candidate to get really overwhelmed sometimes, But that's okay. But we have to cultivate some habits where the overwhelm is not really causing damage to us, but actually it is giving energy to do several things. Like, for example, today I have several meetings, and also I did produce 6 videos by myself, but everything was like a play. right? It's not like oh, I have to do this, I have to do that. It was not there, you know. So these principles, I will repeat them just for the people who have come in just now. See, when I get up in the morning, the first thing what I do is I don't allow the complete thought pattern take over me, and then I go pursuing all the things. What did I do yesterday? What I'm going to do today? What is now? Give a break right after you get out of the bed, okay, so that you establish yourself in the present moment. You know, so I call that being in the awareness, not in the thought stream. You can do that later, but right after you get up, the nervous system is very vulnerable, you know. So you want to really stabilize that and get to the present mode, you know, bringing the awareness in front of your thoughts. Okay, that even if you do a few minutes later on, like I do, in a few minutes it helps me. But I also have this wellness club, so I go and do the yoga, breathing, and all that with them, so that helps too. Basically, establishing ourselves in the moment means, suppose you get up and you see today is raining, and you go and be in touch with that. Be aware of the rain, be aware of the sound, be aware of the coolness and all of that, you know. And also be aware of the life around you, the plants, the pets, the spouse, the children. All. Don't have to make a big conversation thing, but just be aware, greet them, and then don't judge how they are. The kids also, if they're all over, don't lose your cool for that. Just be, and then aware of yourself, what's going on. Suppose you are yelling or you screaming and all, be aware of that, that kind of thing. Okay, so awareness in the present moment is the beginning of the day, is very important. That's the number one. Now, once you have cultivated that, take it like a perfume through the day. That means you could really do anything very, very intensely, but without any tension. And then when you are relaxing, relax, but without any laxity. That's possible. If you go and do some exercise and do breathing coordination or alignment with the breathing and the mind, then what happens is your parasympathetic nervous system gets activated with the deep breathing, which is exactly opposite of the sympathetic nervous system. So you are really kind of attending to your inner compulsions, worries, anxieties, and all those things with the rest and digest system or parasympathetic system really stimulated. That makes it much, much easier to handle situation later. So then you take a shower, just don't forget about scrubbing the skin very well, because that kind of is the largest organ of in our body, and also it has a lot of immunocyte stimulating bodies too. So when you do that, that is something that gives you inner immune cell. That's kind of thing, okay. And then you kind of go to work. While you are working, what I want to do is, don't react to things, but respond. Watch yourself. You may not be able to all of a sudden, but if you reflect on it later on in the day, and then you can think about a situation where you emotionally reacted. Like our people sometimes get frustrated with questions, with whatever it and all that. Watch it. Then you will save a lot of energy, and it becomes a habit, you know. And then take a minute break every hour with what I call PMBB, present moment breathing break. Like you have a room and you have done so much discussion, so much explanation, and all of that. Stop for 1 minute. Just close your eyes and take deep breaths, and then focus on that breath so that your thought patterns kind of take a break. And that's something that's what we are to do. Of course, meditation and all those are very good. I'm very advanced about that. So I stay what's called meditative awareness. That means I don't have to sit down and calm my mind down. It's always in the awareness. So I don't have to fight the thoughts or anything like that. But that's after years of practice, you know. So that kind of thing. Then when you go home, this is a very, very important thing. A lot of people just go to home and then they slump in the bed. That's not what you want to do. You want to unwind, and also you want to really reflect on what happened during the day. What did I do? What were my most important emotional reactions to whatever happened? Is it right or not? Somebody is wrong, leave it alone. But how did I react inside myself? That's the review I do it every day. And if they are really small things, trivial things, I dump it. If they are important things, then I put it on the device or the notepad, and then I forget about them. Practically, nothing is there these days that I need to remember about. I have my own goals, and all the time pursuing them. That goes up. It depends upon each person, right? Hi, Sanya. Welcome.
Hi, Dr. Rao.
Yeah.
Hi, Bashan, and everyone else.
Mhm.
Hi, Sonia.
Good to meet you.
That was great, Dr. Rao. I'm listening, and I'm loving the offer, especially about taking a break to breathe.
Yeah.
I forgot your acronym, but yeah, I love
PMBB.
that.
PMBB. Present, movement, breathing, break. So it's not just,
Present moment, breathing, break.
yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Because I talk to people about resetting their stress hormone and
Yeah.
taking 8 deep breaths through the nose,
Yeah.
from the diaphragm through the nose and out the mouth. And I need to take a breathing break even if I don't think I need one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But along with the breathing, align your mind to be present. That's important. Okay. Taking deep breaths, that's good enough. But then keep your mind on the nose, on the tip of the breathing thing, because that way your mind is taking a break from the stream of thought. Otherwise, it will go on forming a network. You see what I mean?
No, absolutely. That's something I've struggled with that I'm doing a lot better
Yeah.
in life is that I've lived in the future and the past
Yeah, you want to
too
understand
much.
something about thought network. You see, that is what we miss. If you allow any equipment, any instrument to work constantly, it's going to break down, right? It's as simple as that. With the mind, you get moments where you don't have any thoughts, or you have moments where you have compulsive thought, or memories coming up and all that, right? But if you make that conscious thought, that means I'm going to do this, I'm going to be intentional about this, and after that, I'm going to stop it. It is the stopping and not having a remnant of thought that is important, because that is the culprit. What happens is, suppose you are thinking something, and then you did not let it go, and the thought simmers on and forms its own network, then it goes and settles down in your subconscious, and from there it will come back again. So that's why when you really do the conscious thought, what is important is, first of all, I'm paying attention to what I'm doing, and all my focus is there. And then after it is done, I don't want to take anything from that. Like my patients, that is what I do. Each patient one day, one at a time, right? Complete attention to them. They are so happy because the doctor is listening to us. So that is my forte, okay? Listening to people, especially my patients. I let them talk. I let them tell me about things, and then the more comfortable they feel, the more they confide in me and all that. So the visit goes very well just by me listening to them lots of time, and also explaining to them whatever they wanted to know. But then after the patient is done, when I go to the next patient, I bring the same presence to the patient. You see, you got the point?
Yes,
Yeah,
I do have the point.
yeah.
So what I was sharing before was that I needed to work on being more present,
Hmm.
and I've been working on that because now that is maybe I'm a little too present because there's some things I just don't worry about that maybe I should.
Hmm.
But I was too like overly obsessed with getting older,
Hmm.
too overly obsessed with the concepts of mortality,
Yeah.
um, minds and others. And so, I'm really working just to kind of take in the day. Um, and just to kind of just be here. So I appreciate your message
Yeah.
of being present
Yeah.
and just relishing in the moments. So, and
See,
I appreciate what you talked about with like giving the body like a really like good scrub. It's
yeah,
the largest organ,
yeah.
and we need to have those practices too as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you.
There is another message there because in the morning we seem to be all in a hurry, okay? And then you want to hurry yourself to get to going and eat a little bite or something. That's exactly what I want to reverse during the morning session because if you are in control, in the present, and doing all the things that you need to do the exercise, the bathroom, the breakfast, whatever you do. If you are prepared the day before, it's much better in the morning. So, this is a discipline I got from the yoga, and that helped me very much with my patient care because the patient care involves us to be there for them, and being empathetic what is going on with them, not to be occupied with our own intellectual thought or emotional inklings or our egoic feelings and all that. So working on ourselves, trying to be present, helped my patients immensely. In New York, for example, I was a ER physician at the time, right after my residency. I was working in the ER as an attending physician for a few months before I came to the practice here. Actually, 1.5 years I was there. What happened was in the morning when I came, there were three courts. All the three courts were needing attention right away, and I'm the only physician. So I have to handle them. We have what is called the CC1, where it's an open ICU, so 8 beds can stay in that, and each one, because sometimes we covered with curtains, otherwise we opened and saw what the patients are doing. So these three patients were there. I was in the middle of in the room, and I had three teams working on each one. There's a method to the madness, to the code, and all the three types of varieties of people are working on each patient. But my communication with them is very good. I only watch the rhythm. I will give the orders of the medications, but I also ask them to resuscitate, to do the IVs, to the recording of the what is happening and all that. But everything went well because I just came from a yoga session, so I was very cool and calm, and everything went just like everything beautiful because the leader is calm and quiet. So everybody settles down. If I get frenzied and worried, then they get it osmotic like, and then they will be. So that's where I really practice my whatever I learned, the life skills or yoga skills, like that. So being in the presence of the patient, he becomes more important to me than what is going on with my mind. See, there are so many people to help me, right? The office manager, the billing, the nurses, the assistants, they'll be there. So I just have to delegate them, but I have to focus. Main thing is what the patient in front of me. So that kind of focusing ourselves to the present moment and dealing with it one at a time without having this worrisome thought coming or some memory coming, that is the discipline we need in the mind. You can have the goals, you can have all the targets that you want, that's fine. But once you checked out the steps, stay with each step and focus on
Okay,
that. Hi,
thank you.
Crystal. Crystal is here too. I think I was
Yes,
going.
hi Crystal, hi
Yeah,
Patricia.
I'll ask her to come up too, if she can come up. So this is a series I have been doing for some of you. Hi, Crystal.
Hi, I'm getting my hair done, so can't really talk, but happy to be here.
Sure, sure. Listen to that's it. So we were doing this
Sorry,
energy.
I have to say hi to Vashon and Princess Dance on YouTube. Thank you.
Yeah. So it's like a energy and entrepreneurship. We've been doing it for 2 3 weeks now because I thought this artificial intelligence giving me a lot of opportunity to a lot of women, lot of youngsters to be entrepreneurs, which is a very good thing, I think. They will learn the skills. They will, contribute to the society and all that. So when I was watching a lot of them in the rooms or anywhere, I could see people are overwhelmed, people are stressed out. Of course, burnout people come to me anyway. So I thought I would present this in a big way. So what I did was first I kind of talked about what are the eight important things that we should do every day, and that was from a document some 18,000 years ago. They wrote it. I was very impressed because some of those things we are dealing with it now. Then I saw that in the ancient wisdom chronicles. I was really impressed. It starts like this, Roshan. Tell me how you feel. I think Sonia knows because Sonia with me for a long time now. See, when you go to, it starts with this cycle. Remember, like this is easier. They talked about eight things that if you do every day, your general immunity, your general health will improve. That's what it is. Okay, they look like a simple things, but they're not. They are really go a long way to preserve your natural health. Okay, so the first thing is when you go to bed, don't go to bed with worrisome thoughts or something that you cannot do anything that night, right? So what you want to do is you want to actively recall what are the positive things happened to me tonight, today. Like somebody, a friend came and greeted us, or somebody gave us a compliment, or you had a chance to work with somebody, show them an act of kindness, any number of things. Okay, just pick up four positive things that happened, and right before you slip into sleep, think on them. Only keep them in your mind. But later on, you can be without any thoughts. But in the beginning, actively negate the negative thoughts, but be in the conscious positive thoughts only. That helps a lot, right? And then have a good solid sleep. And I have been talking about quality of sleep, which came from for my own need as a physician, and also I went to study both the modern and the ancient way of what are the tools that we can use to really sleep well. Nowadays, I have 20 minutes of sleep. I'm good to go next time and then do very well. Maybe 2 to 3 hours at night time I do. That's good enough. But at one time, it was not the case. So I used to have struggling for that while we were on the call, especially on the call, because 3 nights in a row we were called. We were kind of exhausted. We had no sleep at all. So, but I can talk about later the sleep quality, how we can improve. Not taking medications, not taking any alcohol. We can do some things to improve our sleep quality, which really helps our energy. Okay. So after you went to bed on positive thoughts, this is number one. Number two is you had at least few hours of quality sleep. Okay, and then that requires some ambient, that requires some pre-sleep activities and post-sleep activities. That's a big topic. And then when you get up in the morning, they talked about it, this document I'm talking about. First, have a good empty bowel movement. If you allow it to happen, regular eating, regular sleeping, and all that, then the circadian rhythm will take over, and you will normally have a good bowel movement right away in the morning. That's a good, healthy sign. Then don't be lazy. That's another thing they prescribe. Don't. That means don't linger in the bed. Don't say, "Oh, I have to sleep much more" and all that. But get up and then walk. Put some effort and walk, right? And also see that your weight is maintained in a range that is normal. This is a big trouble for a lot of people. That's also prescribed at the time. And then go and expose yourselves to the sun. That's a very healthy practice. Of course, everybody knows the vitamin D, but also there's so much more in the morning sun rays when you go there and all. In yoga, we do sun salutations, which is, I think my friend Sonia, my student, she does Surya Namaskars 10 or 20. How many are you now, Sonia? 10 or 20? How many are doing? You are doing Sarladhu, right?
21, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still doing 21.
That's good. That's very good. Okay. So I know some people who do 1,000 a day. But if you do one or two, that really revamps it because it involves spine bending backward and forward. So that's the key thing that goes down there. Okay, actually, I that's the best aerobic exercise I know. Okay, I haven't taught you Sanya the advanced Surya Namaskars, and they will add so much more for you. you know, you will think, oh, unbelievable! I'm feeling so good with this, right? Anyway, so then you walked, you expose your skin to the sun, then you return home with a good appetite. That's also another sign. If you have a good appetite, and then you sit down, have a hearty breakfast. That is the eight. Positive thoughts before you sleep, good sleep, early morning rise, not be lazy, and then go to the bathroom, have a good bowel movement, take the weight on the way, and get out and walk, expose your skin to the sun, and then breakfast. Eight of them. If you do these things religiously, that you are doing something good for your body and mind in the morning. That is what I talked about earlier, and there are eight videos I made on them. And then this is the second one I'm talking about what actually I do every day, how it can help our friends. That's why I'm coming and presenting these things. Any questions? Hello? Any questions or any comments?
Nope, I like those because it just it gets you back to the mood. Like
Yeah,
not the mood, like you know what I mean. Like your state of mind is also
yeah.
balanced.
If you want me talk about medical viewpoint of those eight I found in the ancient document, I will present the document picture later on because what it is modern medicine is pretty good with acute care, with prevention of epidemics, supposed to be vaccines and all that, and antibiotics, also cancer treatments and trauma surgery. There are so many good things we do in the modern medicine, but when it comes to chronic diseases, when it comes to gracefully aging and also really be energetic and really be joyful, that's not really possible with the paradigm that have with the modern medicine because they allow this chronic disease to go on. They allow this chronic disease not being prevented, not giving so much information about health maintenance, and the food industry, gives all this processed food. We all know that is the reason for the lot of our diabetes and all that, and also sedentary lifestyle. So many things that we promote that are not really good for us. Okay, so to be natural, to be energetic, to be really working with simple things is a big struggle because people tend to get habituation with bad habits that were imposed on us, thinking that's a good lifestyle. But I've seen so many people making a lot of success in their career, but then they don't pay attention to the self-care. Okay, so that's why I'm 69. I proudly say that because I'm very energetic for my age, and I kind of get into a lot of new things. But my aims are really important for me. I was writing articles in the LinkedIn about what are the four purposes of my life. Number one was the wellness orientation was not there in the health system. So if I sit in a clinic, if I sit in a hospital, what happens? People get sick and come. So then we respond, then we have a chance to tell them how to protect their health later on. But now most of the people come already damaged and they don't have any idea that's going on in their body. Okay, there are so many ways we can monitor, we can diagnose to the core very easily. Okay, like it's going to be nanotechnology where you can touch a finger and then I will know your entire chemistry profile. Then I can tell you, okay, this is what's going on. So my patients get a lot of homework. Okay, do this for the diet and all. But then there's supportive care. It's not like a punitive thing. Encourage them, educate them, and give them a lot of tools that they can work with. Especially now, with all the communication that we can do, if a patient comes in and he will go take a lot of homework and then he will communicate with. It's not like an episodic care. It's more like a continuous monitoring of their health. So that becomes very busy for us. But I'm happy because I prevent emergency room visits, I prevent acute care admissions. Mainly, I prevent strokes and heart attacks with my approach. My approach is go and work on the roots of your disease. Find out, are you eating badly? Are you not exercising? Are you thinking too much? Are you doing too much? And you are not providing enough care for your four pillars of wellness. I call the diet, exercise, the relaxation of sleep, and calming the mind. These four, if you can attend to them, will be having the renewed energy to go and do stuff. Okay, so this series I was doing on that, four things came. One was wellness oriented health system. That's what I'm working towards. So I'm going to be the chief wellness officer for the major health system. I'm not taking anybody because I want to have specifications so that I can do some data producing on these things, and then they can implement other places too. That's one thing. Second thing is this enhancing the human being from wherever they are to whatever they can be, at least in health wise. And the third thing is work on the whatever we can do to help the planet. If the planet is going down, what is the El Nino is happening now. Next year it's going to be the hottest year, I believe, so far. You know, it's already hot now. It's going to be hotter. Yesterday, the weatherman was coming on the news and telling us about that report. And this man is very well respected, so I know his reports are very good. And then the fourth one is every human being has the intelligence to turn inward and find their true self. That is my secret of remaining calm, remaining peaceful, remain joyful, and also enjoy a lot of new things and everything that comes across me. That's something that everybody has to work on themselves. There is no judgment, but everybody can take it up. But the thing is, if you can really touch your inner core, which is peaceful and happy and settled, you will be the healthiest person because your mind is quiet. You don't have the, I'm putting very simply, bluntly, but then there's a lot in that. Your stress hormones are not going to be rampant and having a field day. So the world has become not only here. That's why I never call only West or East anymore. I call ancient and modern. Whereas ancient people were very close to the nature and they were able to do a lot of things for the nature, and also they followed these natural rhythms we have. So I'm kind of bringing back again everybody to come back to the natural ways that we have in our life, not to be influenced by the food industry or not to be influenced by the entertainment to become sedentary, and not to be losing our mental calmness, because that's what people are doing because they are working too much doing, but too little being. That's what I was talking for years now. So these four purposes I have, I chalked up all my routines accordingly. So I'm very happy, contented that those things are progressing the way I want it. Anyway, any questions? Anybody?
Oh no, Dr. Rao, I've enjoyed this so much. Listening to you, thank you so much for all of your wisdom and your shares. And I did want to say thank you before I had to bow out, but I appreciate it. Appreciate you opening up this room
Yeah.
and everything that you taught today.
Usually I do 6 to 7 on every day. Sometimes it goes beyond. It depends upon people who come and ask questions and all that. But after 7:30, I usually close the room and then retire for the day. Or the so, it's nice, Vashan, you have come because you are really one of the very hardworking yeah, entrepreneur, right? That's good. but also you should be protected with self-care tips so that you can be more helpful for more people.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yes, and thank you for reminding me of that. I do try, but I'm failing miserably right now. But I'm definitely going to
Where are you? Where are you failing? Where do you think you are failing?
Oh, I'm just failing with balance right now. But
Yeah,
that's also my personal life circumstances.
yeah, yeah,
I'm doing, multiple things that's going on, but I'm working towards remedying that. So,
yeah.
but I am getting like a workout in several weeks. I am trying to eat a little bit more balanced. I could just like get a little bit more, focus on the self care. And I'm trying to get out and be with people every now and again. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's good. Do you know how many minutes you're recommended to have exercise, aerobic exercise per week?
So I right now I'm doing about I don't know 30 minutes to an hour about 3 times a week, but I'm trying to get that up to
That's good. That's good.
5 days a week, and I'm
Yeah.
walking. Oh, another thing too is I'm also walking and like communing with nature in the
Wow.
morning.
Very good.
Just trying to get back to some practices and just trying to get back to balance. I struggle with my
100,
personality struggles sometimes with that.
minutes per week, Varshan. That is recommended walking or whatever you do. 150 minutes per week. Okay. I will give you a tip about this walking nature and all that, which you may use it. This is called aparigraha. That means withdrawing the senses. What it is you are on the walk, right? Be aware of what surface you are walking, how does it feel under your feet, and all that. Okay. Beyond that, if you see some flowers, if you see some grass, if you see some trees or swaying and all that, first, be one with them. That's the initial stage. That means you are noticing them, you are acutely aware of them. Okay, don't think of things at that time because that it's called forest bathing. Very soothe on your stress hormones. Very much recommended during COVID epidemic. We suggest a lot of people to get that immune sites wake up. So we named it forest bathing. The important thing is to be with your see you have sense organ. First sense perception, it comes and meets your sense organ, and then there is a reaction usually. Immediately you think, oh, this is good, this is bad. Don't do that. Just be with that sensation and be completely with it, and see what happens after 5 10 minutes like walking like that. That means you are not putting your thought on autopilot. Okay, you want to reserve that for the sessions that you have, that the time you have for conscious thought. So remove these two: complete connection with the sensory perception and the sensory organs, and later on you can be withdrawing that sensory organ from that. That's a different practice, but for now just be aware of where you are walking, what's happening around you, and just be aware of the green of the. I kind of enjoy nature change every time I go out because it's automatically I'm connected with the nature, and that is very healing for us. Okay, especially when we work with all these devices, electromagnetism and all that. We have to leave it and be one with the nature. Okay. Other thing is conscious thought. Think about things very, very, intensely at a certain time. But after that, you have a plan. You have steps towards the plan. Then focus on the process, on each step that you are doing. Don't worry about the results. Then results automatically get done because you have a qualified input into what is happening here and now. Hope that will help you.
You did very much. Thank you so much, Dr. Rao.
Yeah.
And you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful evening. I'm going to bow out now, but I look
Okay.
forward to coming back.
Okay. Thank you, Varshan. Nice to see you. So, Crystal, are you able to speak now? Hi, Ram. How are you?
Hello, Dr. Rao. good to see you.
Yeah, how are you?
Good, good. I just came into the room
Yeah.
when you were talking about not react to sensation. I like it.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, I have been here 6 o'clock, right? Every day I will be here. My yogic punctuality is I want to come on time. So it works out somehow. Yeah.
The only question I have is just to understand the context. How do we know sometimes if we don't react instinctively
Hmm.
that it's too late to react? Like if you touch a hot plate, we got to we
Yeah.
got to react, right?
That
So how do
is
we differentiate
that is
situations where reaction actually protects us?
yeah, that is a physical, that is commonsensical. We are talking about this cyclical thought that we cultivate, which is a kind of waste of energy and also doesn't take you anywhere. And the problem is it goes into your subconscious and comes back again. So this is overthinking, too much thinking. That is really kind of imposed on the modern civilization. So you got to learn to deal with it. So that there's so much. All you have to do is bring it to your practice. Just don't talk about it. Don't think unnecessarily. Basically, your reactivity is you go in the car and people get road rage, and that kind of reactivity also happens in the offices, in the hospitals, and I see our doctors. They'll be throwing charts because they're frustrated with so much work, so many, so much of problems going on. So what they do is they kind of get themselves upset, and then the whole thing goes out of whack. And they are supposed to be the leaders of healthcare, but not necessarily the people, but the leaders of healthcare. That means you have a sacred duty to maintain a environment where you are in control, you are in balance. So that kind of people reacting emotionally is not going to help anybody. It's going to really create a toxic atmosphere in the hospital. We are talking about how can you prepare your nervous system not to react. Because see, most people don't even pay attention to that. They get they perceive a threat, they think something is danger, then your reptile system comes into activity. That means sympathetic nervous system reacts, all your stress hormones goes up, and that is not good for you. Like for example, you're angry with somebody, the anger may not affect the opposite person, but it does affect you physically, hormonally, chemically, neurologically. So, what we are suggesting is train yourself, especially the times when the day transfers to the nighttime, or in the morning when the night transfers into the morning time. That's when the nervous system is most vulnerable, not completely in charge. So what you want to do is you want to first take deep breaths and be aware. And one thing I recommend with the thought is have a elevated thought, something that's bigger than you, something that you are doing that's going to touch more people. Think about that, not think about what I'm going to lose, what I'm going to. That is the modern lifestyle, right? People are worried about they may lose the job, they may lose the promotion, they may lose the goal. So many things are put, especially IT people that I work with. They are really burdened with this a tremendous amount of profit or productivity they have to do. So they are in constant worry, and then they don't really realize that they are setting themselves up for burnout and stress. So when they come, they are very fidgety, very anxious, have this cyclical thought, worry. I tell them, my favorite thing I tell them is, yeah, worry is like you are sitting in the rocking chair and rocking, and you are not going anywhere. So if you are embarked on that cyclical thought I'm talking about, your thought is not going to deliver anything to you, but it will deliver a lot of stress hormones. So that's why. Crystal, you're going to say something? I saw her unmute earlier, so therefore Ram came. I know she was busy, but she unmuted briefly. So, okay. Anything else, Ram?
Um,
Ah,
But yeah, I like what you said. So it's non-physical. So
yeah.
we shouldn't make a judgment and react when we go through some emotions. Correct?
Yeah, that's it. These are emotional reactions I'm talking about, because emotional is nothing but strong thoughts actually, and then that is not needed lots of times. If you can really, suppose you get angry, take a step back and write it down what you want to say, and then you will have a pause where you are not impulsively saying that. So that gap is not given because people are wired differently, different ways. They have something to protect, they have ego, they have so many things that they are operating without them really realizing it. And you may have some diplomacy, you may have some civility, you may have some restriction, all that you may do that. But a lot of people, they kind of feel so, especially the kids who are going through all these educations and all that, they have this inner stress, strife that I have, and they are doing it, but they are not doing it in joy. So what I teach people is whatever you do, there's a possibility to do them in joy. Like I do these rooms, I don't get so many people, but if one or two people come, I do the same way. But the replays are seen by people, who are interested, and then they kind of get. So I kind of do it, even if few people do it. But I do it mainly because it gives me joy to share. So whatever I'm doing is not work for me. So that kind of thing is possible for anybody, any work. And that is not being taught. And people have to go to a counselor. No, no need. You got to look at things a little slightly different. Take time for yourself to reflect and then understand. All you have to do is reflect on all the thoughts, all the emotions that are going in. Then what happens is you make the thoughts objects, and then you can work on them. Otherwise, thought goes to another thought, and it goes on like that, which is not really important, you know.
Can I follow up on that? It's very interesting what you said.
Yeah.
Going after thoughts eventually leads us nowhere. Maybe
Mm.
we come back to the same place. So how is creativity explained? Creativity is thinking out of the box,
Yeah.
changing the thought. How
Creativity
do you
by
reconcile
definition. Yeah, yeah,
lack of creativity
yeah. No, no,
with
no, no.
thoughtlessness?
Thought is not necessarily creative, but when the thought stops, things come out of our interior are creative. You can have mechanical thought very meticulously arranged, and then it will result in something good. But if you take the creativity, that is happens when you say, you can see that. For example, you are working on something and working on something, you can't find the solution, and you stop it and you go and take a walk and you just leave it, then suddenly thought comes up. This idea or whatever new creative impulse that comes up, the solution pops up. Where did it come? Because when you stop this wavering mind, chattering mind, then the creativity comes through. This is a thoughtfulness and thinking about something, the best practices, all that is fine. But when the first comes, that creative, one person may have that and everyone else may follow that, But if you really want to be creative, where you want to spring something new, you have to bury all the traditional thought and everything. Very invigorating experience. That's what happens in meditation. All your old memories, old thoughts, everything will come up. And then those thoughts are allowed to come up, watched, and then let them go. Then they don't go back to subconscious and all that. That is what you are supposed to have in the meditation, where all your inherent subconscious thoughts are exposed, tendencies are exposed, and then you deal with them.
So a lot of people confuse
Yeah,
not thinking in terms of meditation, thoughtlessness,
no,
in
no.
terms of a positive thoughtlessness,
Yeah.
not being controlled by thoughts. They confuse that with inaction.
Ah, yeah, that's true. That's not it. This is very dynamic action, actually. You are not sitting down just to closing your eyes. You are actually dealing with all these innate, already several neural paths are formed, and they are going to come again and again. That's called samskaras, or ingrained thoughts, we call them, or cognitive reframing is done when we identify the negative and we turn them to positive. Yeah, other thing, Ram, it's not about other people, it's about us. What is this that we are doing that which is there? Then it becomes much better. It's like a intellectual world, going and thinking about it, talking about it. That's not going to really help the person who is undergoing this transformative change through the meditation knowledge. So discussing these things as concepts, as intellectual things, is going to make us more connections and more networks, but understanding this and taking the wisdom and applying it in our daily life, then you get a real transformation. Anyway, I think I opened at 6 o'clock. I was supposed to close at 7. I think it's beyond 7 some, and then we will take leave for today and then come back tomorrow again. Okay?
Let me observe one takeaway. We need to be self-contained,
Yeah.
but not give up action. Is that correct?
Yeah, this is a dynamic process. In a sense, you are not just saying, "Oh, this, that," but you're actually taking action. So that's important.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rao.
Okay, now I'll see you later. Okay,
Yeah, thank
Stephanie,
you.
we'll see you tomorrow.